So, hopefully the wind won't be too much. Secondly, I hope everybody is well. Hopefully you can see by kind of my setup that this video is a bit impromptu. I didn't have time to like reorganize my bedroom. This is how I live. This is how it is. I'm actually kind of in the process of kind of redecorating very slowly, and maybe there'll be a video on that if I ever kind of finish it, but I'm technically in the process, or I have thoughts of redecorating. Anyway, also thank you for 500 subscribers. It's actually not like, for some people who've got like 84,000, good for you. I'm cheering myself on my 500. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. I appreciate you so much. I don't earn any money from this at all. So knowing that like I'm helping people, especially with like my UEA videos, or people like enjoy watching what I do, even if it's only 500 of you, even if it's less than 100 views. Some of my videos don't even have 100 views, but I'm like, somebody enjoys watching what I'm doing. So yeah, thank you so much. Maybe I should do a giveaway. Is that what people do? I think that's what people do. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, this video is a bit impromptu, and to be honest it might be a bit delayed, but it's been something that's kind of been on my heart for a minute, and I thought like, let me say something. Let me find out if you can hear me. I actually just closed the window. Okay, why is this now so close? Apparently that's how it was. So I actually just closed the window because the wind, we're in July and the wind is just, I don't know where it's got its energy from. Being the only thing that's been allowed outside for a minute, I feel like it got a bit gassed up in Roro. But anyway, so I went to my first protest, and it was a Black Lives Matter it was a Black Lives Matter peaceful protest. Now, I went a very long time ago, actually. What, like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? I don't even remember. It was a long time ago. And I'll be so honest, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. I did not want to go. Why? Let me actually show you. I'll actually read to you what I posted on Instagram. So those of you who follow me, those of you who don't, you missing out. Period. Okay. Surely I can just like insert the photo. I'll insert the photo. And then I'll read you my caption, and then I'll kind of talk about it a little bit. Okay, history is well and truly being made. Don't close your eyes. That 2020 vision we asked for, here it is. Never in a million years did I think that little old Newbury... Never in a million years did I think that the little old Newbury I grew up in, the same Newbury where I could once name all the black people living here in less than 30 seconds, the same Newbury where I was the only black girl in my year group throughout my primary and secondary school education, would be the same Newbury I've seen in the last 48 hours, hosting 2 consecutive days of Black Lives Matter protests. Hashtag Black Lives Matter protests. I won't lie and say I grew up dreaming of days like this, because I didn't know until later in my life that Newbury needed something like this. That the battle against racism isn't something that had been won, irrespective of who tried to make me believe otherwise. I'll be so honest, I wasn't going to go. I didn't want to be disappointed by the lack of support. I didn't want to go and see the handful of black people in Newbury I knew being the only ones behind the cause. Ironic, I know. In fact, yesterday I only ended up being there because my sister coincidentally fainted whilst it was happening. She's fine, by the way. However, God knew, because fear is crippling. To my genuine surprise, people came out. And in a place like Newbury, where the population is 93.9% white, that means something surely. Sure, the protests aren't the end, but they show that people are willing to maybe play an active role in the fight for visible change, and that is uplifting. At BLMUK_Newbury, we made history, all in the name of fighting for black people and the lives that do in fact matter. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. If that's not something to continue pressing on for, then I don't know what is. I didn't want to go, and you've seen the reason why. And so obviously, so the day before, my younger sister went with one of her friends just to kind of be there, and then she fainted when she was there, so then I had to go and like make sure she was okay. She's fine now, she's okay. But kind of being there, I saw like, oh my gosh, like people have actually come, because I really didn't think people were going to go. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not expect people to go. I saw people went. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. Sticked around for a little bit, heard some speeches, and thought, wow, like, I just thought, wow. So then the next day, because they had 2 consecutive days, as you heard, the next day I intentionally went. I got up, I got dressed, put some normal clothes on in this row because I've been living in pajamas, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go. And as I said, like, God knew, and I think it's so easy, especially as a black person in a predominantly white community, to kind of be like, do you know what, like, there's no point. But going and like seeing people also there and remembering what it's all about is why I went the second day, and I don't regret it at all. And thank God I did go, and it made me realize that I have a lot of white friends. I do. For a black person, I have a lot of white friends. And it's made me realize that, okay, it's not my responsibility as such, but I've always been someone who's very open in that people can ask me questions if they have them, to learn about their own white privilege and then how to kind of use themselves as a vehicle for change, if that makes sense. So me kind of intentionally not going isn't very encouraging, and I realized like a lot of my friends kind of look up to me, just because they won't understand or maybe not have experienced certain things, and I don't really know how to explain it, but use me as a agony aunt, if that's the best way to describe it. I'm not making a lot of sense because it's still kind of in my head and trying to make sense of it all, but thank God I went. And I think from that I've been able to kind of see that I also have a part to play as a black person. I think a lot of us assume that all black people are for the cause, and unfortunately they're not. I've really met some crazy people in the last couple of weeks, but there are more of us for the cause. But if we are for the cause, we have to really be for the cause. So it's allowed me, that post on my Instagram got a lot of like good kind of feedback, as it were, in that people coming to me and being like, oh my gosh, wow, do you know what, I've seen your story, you grew up in a predominantly white area, so your experience must be really different. And people acknowledging that the black experience isn't linear, it's not just one, for everyone. So I had a lot of friends being like, hey Kosh, thank you so much for sharing, what can I do, or what do you suggest I read, or what do you suggest I watch, because I want to educate myself. And I think that for me was also a bit like, okay, cool, I'm as responsible as the next person to making sure that this Black Lives Matter that I protest about is something that's actually kind of seen in my life. So biggest shout out to Black Lives Matter UK Newbury, the group that was created, because you gave me insight into just how important my part is to play, just as much as anyone else's, which was great. And thank God I went. Like, obviously not thank God like my sister fainted, but thank God he kind of found a way to make me go. Does that make sense? So I'm really grateful. And yeah, just Black Lives Matter, and they will continue to do so eternally. Yeah, I don't know if I've said enough. I don't know if I've said too much, but my thoughts are, yeah, I have a part to play. And thank you, God, for giving me a heart that people can see, that if they have any questions, they can genuinely just come and ask me and have a chat, and I'm more than happy to do so. Because I just had like friends really coming to me and being like, wow, thanks for sharing your experience. And I think we underestimate that a lot. So yeah, haven't done a video in a minute. I feel like this is fitting. Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody, I hope everybody's keeping safe, keeping sane, keeping safe, especially because restrictions are being lifted. But yeah, I think that's it. I feel like there's more I want to say, but I don't really know for now. Maybe I'll make another video. This top was $5 from the US of A, and Forever 21 baby, the Mona of the Lisa. Pop! Okay, so I went to the protest, and this is kind of what my day looked like. Kind of hope you enjoy it. It's not a lot of footage, to be honest, but I'm kind of sleeping on myself.
Everyone out here today, you're beautiful. Everyone out here today, we're fighting for equality. We are the difference. We're the new generation. We're the change.
Discrimination, it can be around corruption, if you like. And I get asked to do this, and I will say, well, you know, which country in Africa do you mean? And we went, well, we want you to do Africa. And I was like, well, you know, that is, I mean, I don't think I'd ever leave my house to do all of the countries in Africa. And so there is, you know, a duty on all of us who are educated, whether we are black or white or people of colour or other minorities, to use our opportunity in the positions we may have in our work, in our communities, to help provide, you know, those resources and insist on better education for people, because the level of ignorance really in this country is a condemnation of our education system, which is clearly failing because of what we, you know, the opinions that we hear and we see. So,
as the United Kingdom, we are supposed to be defined by freedom. But tell me why there is still division. So inflated, you're spreading hatred. You thrive off deceit, and you see yourself as one who is elite. You're right, there's no need to sugarcoat. The truth shall set you free. But this doesn't mean venom can slide out of your mouth so effortlessly. It's okay to feel. Emotions are hard to ignore. But I am here to tell you that there is so much more. What we need is a shift in dynamic. A community that welcomes transparency.
you can get up when you're ready, or sit down when you're ready. Thank you.
Let me show you. Black lives matter. Black businesses matter. We have a serious woman here repping her brand. Tell us what you mean, baby girl.
Okay, so to be vigilant is to be liberated.
Okay.
Stay woke, guys.
Okay.
Stay woke about the truth.
You know
the truth shall set you free.
it will. Bruh. We literally wait. Turn around. Let me see the back again. This is so beautiful. I love this a lot.